as you know, if you are a listener to Chewing the Fat, you know that no one supports truckers more than me, Jeff Fisher, or this show, Chewing the Fat. No one supports truckers more than me. And I have a long-standing history with truckers. I love them. Well, I got this email from Jim Grundy, CEO of Sisu Energy in Fort Worth, Texas. And he's got a recruiting effort going on now that I may just walk away and start driving trucks right now. Just to put down the microphone. I could actually just start streaming my show live from the tractor of a truck. Jim, welcome to Chewing the Fat. How are you, sir?
Hey, thanks for having me. Having a great Wednesday here in Fort Worth, Texas.
Absolutely. So your company, Sisu Energy, is now having a recruiting effort going on you're looking for people to work, correct?
You know, since the pandemic and the response globally and what that did to supply chains, there's been some wonderful opportunities that have opened up. And one of those here in the U.S. is trucking, and especially what we do is oil and gas trucking that supports, the fracking side, energy production.
So, okay. So, I mean, that's wonderful. Now, I was under the impression from some other interviews that I heard that there were a lot of reach-out programs going to, high schools and universities and tech schools and whatever, saying, hey, these jobs are available. So nobody's taking them up on that?
What's fascinating about that is I'll never be one to discredit education, but, I've got a master's degree and proud to have one. At the same time, though, the dynamics of when I received my degree and the current state of our economy with inflation, the jobs that are available to new graduates, we have 23, 24-year-olds that work here that drive a truck. They're owner-operators. They own their own rig. They're making $300,000 to $400,000 a year. That's a 23, 24-year-old.
That's awesome. So I could just go to your, first of all, I'd just say that if you want a job, you can easily find a way to apply at SISUEnergyLLC.com, SISUEnergyLLC.com. Now, some of the things that has been a problem in the past that I remember reading and hearing about was finding people who were able to do the job, right? Which means drug testing. What else? There was a couple other things. Education obviously isn't an issue. Are you training them to drive the rigs?
Well, you bring up a good point. Insurance companies are the ones that dictate the rules of who can and can't drive for a company. So in our case, you have to have 2 years verifiable CDL experience to work for us because our insurance is A+ rated. They're not taking a risk on a new driver. But if you have the desire and the want to, we'll train anybody. If you have that 2-year required CDL experience, you can sign up with us. We'll put you with a seasoned veteran. All the expenses are on our dime, no down payments on anything. You simply have to apply. We'll take care of your plates, your permits, everything, and make sure you're safely navigating the roads and helping our energy exploration throughout the U.S.
Okay, so what you're really looking for then is you need guys that have already got rigs, and I'm not downplaying that whatsoever. I'm just saying what I could be making, $300,000-$400,000 a year if I already have a rig. I just show up and I've driven for a couple of years. I show up at your front door and you're ready to hook something up to me.
Yeah, but we also have opportunities. So we have a lot of investors that buy empty trucks, put them on with us, and it's our job to place drivers in those trucks. So if you don't have a rig, that doesn't mean it's a no.
Oh.
But I would call recruiting and let them place you in a rig. Now, those guys are making about 35% of total gross. The average truck does, $400,000 to $500,000 a year gross. You're talking about as a driver making $150,000, $140,000 a year. Without owning your own tractor. So there's two different avenues you can take. It's just, which one meets your eye.
I love that. And if I don't have a rig, is the training process still available to me?
Absolutely. Our team has been with us pre-pandemic. We opened in 2019, 4 months before the pandemic started, and so we have a pretty loyal following. Terrible timing, but loyal following.
Well, I know
you know.
some of my son opened up a business right about that same time, and he struggled through it quite well. So it can be done. It can be done.
Yeah, it wasn't easy, but what they did is because most of our competitors out there in the oil and gas space that move bulk commodities, they fell wayside. They went bankrupt. We use smart technologies in house. We have about 19 office employees that manage the largest fleet of pneumatic carrier in the U.S. So we can do more with a lot less because of our technology. So that allows us to really turn these assets and make sure they're making the revenue they want to make.
So when you talk about where are we at with the autonomous trucks and the deliveries there? You're looking for drivers, and you have empty tractors and empty trailers or whatever you're doing for to create jobs for humans. But we're still in a place now where we're seeing more and more autonomous vehicles on the road. Now, I know they're not delivering. If it were up to me, I would say that the autonomous trucks would be able to maybe deliver, drive on the highways. But once you get inside, whatever city limits, that goes to humans. But that's just a fight, probably a lost cause. But where are you at with that?
Well, there's a massive company in Europe called Volta. They made a big push for autonomous driving. They just filed Chapter 11, bankrupt. And so on paper, look, on napkins, it looks great. But the reality is we're a few decades away from even just the inner city autonomous trucks moving around. There's still a substantial hazard. There's other drivers get worried about.
The actual humans are what to worry about. That's why I was saying it would be, to me, it would make sense to use them on the highways, outside of municipal areas. But I'm not a politician, and I'm not fighting for that. I'm just saying it would make sense in my eyes.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a two-pronged approach here. You have a big electric push, which they're now seeing is not cheaper, and it's not better for the environment. And then you have on the highways, it does make sense, but you still have to have a driver behind the wheel.
I've seen those.
So it really doesn't alleviate, a driver's.
No, I understand, but you're saying they're making the world believe that we are, a year or two away from it happening, and you're saying we're decades away from having it happen. Because I realize the ones I see on the road still have a human in it, but they're leading me to believe that human's going to be gone relatively soon.
No way. Inside our space, the biggest trucking company in the U.S. is J.B. Hunt. They've experimented with some stuff. I come from J.B. Hunt, really close to those guys. We're decades away from doing things of that nature. It's nothing that, humans aren't being replaced anytime soon. Great opportunities for trucking right now, especially in the oil and gas space, as these autonomous vehicles can't go off-road, which is where we work, out in the desert, right? In the middle of nowhere. So it doesn't really impact what we do. But, hey, if there's a market for it and it creates jobs down the road, wonderful. But it's not a year or two away. That's just political nonsense.
So do you work with the Texas, the Railroad Commission, say, who I heard speaking about this at some length was Wayne Christian, the commissioner from the Texas Railroad Commission. And he was talking about doing reach-out programs and how, these jobs were available, not necessarily, specifically from you at SISU, but the jobs of trucking through Texas and, energy. And so do you work in part with them as well?
We do. There's been a massive response from what we've done post-pandemic, what we've been doing for the last few years, helping people get back on their feet and trying to be a part of the solution. There is a massive gap between truckers that have retired. Pandemic forced a lot of truckers out. They forced them out of their trucks. They couldn't make rent, pay their bills. And then what you're seeing is the demonization of traditional blue-collar jobs, such as plumbers, electricians, truck drivers. And these are all six-figure jobs that have been demonized. And a lot of folks are trying to trick folks into sitting behind a desk making 30, 40, 50,000 out of college, and they wonder why they can't afford a home or get out of the parents' homes. That's why. I mean, they're being misled about opportunities. If the end game really is financial freedom, then why are you not putting yourself in positions for financial freedom? And it can't be behind a desk working for a corporation for 10 years till your 20s. So that's just not a good answer anymore.
It's behind the wheel of a rig, baby.
Let's do it.
The lifeblood of America. The truckers on the road. I love it. So, Jim, tell me what I have to do to make, $500,000 a year driving a truck. What do I got to do?
Yeah, first you need to figure out your lifestyle. This lifestyle is not for everybody. It's not like they're at home every night seeing their family. These guys, our top driver's from Utah. He goes home about once every 2 to 3 months. But when he's out there, last year, north of $500,000 net. So it can be done, but you have to commit to that lifestyle.
So what you're saying, Jim, is I wouldn't have to see my wife for only once every 3 months. Now you're starting to sell me. You're starting to sell me. But go ahead.
Yeah, it's a win-win for her too. She wouldn't have to see you either, But and that's not what you have to do. That's if you want to make the top earner money. That you have to think about things of that nature. What you put in is what you're going to get out of it over here. We have some guys that do $250,000 a year and they're happy with that. Other guys are doing $600,000 in revenue.
Right,
so.
But the jobs are there, is what you're saying, and
Absolutely.
we need the jobs are there and available. Just make it happen today. Really, go to SISU Energy LLC.com. Correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, Jim. Thank you. I'll keep in touch. I appreciate all your hard work. Thank you, and I appreciate you coming on Chewing the Fat today. Thank you.
Hey, appreciate it. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.